Hello, today is Saturday, July 13th, 2024, and I am Jason Shapiro with crowdedmarketreport.com. Today I just wanted to real quick discuss a concept that I believe very strongly in, which is that when you develop an idea and you're trading off of that idea, whatever that may be, I think it's really important to spend a lot of time researching people that disagree with you. You know, we have a tendency to gravitate towards those who agree with us. And it's a little bit dangerous because it gives us this confirmation bias. Hey, I thought this, and look at this guy thinks this too, or this person thinks this too, and this person's really smart, and therefore it must be right. And it almost gives you this bias to stay in a trade that isn't working and fight the tape because you think you're right, and the people that you're reading think you're right, and you're scared to get out of it and take your loss. So it's important to spend as much time researching things that prove your point is wrong as it is in researching things that prove your point is right. Because at the very least, it will get in our mind, hey, this is where I might be wrong, and therefore I have to keep my eye on this. And this just came into my mind recently because, you know, this AI thing obviously is such a big driver in what's going on in the future. And, you know, this is the issue. We're dealing with the future, which we don't know, right? Which is why we can be wrong, and which is why we can lose a lot of money fighting the tape and believing that we're right and the tape is wrong. So at least having this idea of, hey, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe this is where I could be wrong, can help you with your risk management in that. And, you know, this AI thing has such a big impact on the future in so many ways, right? Whether it's going to be the biggest productivity boom in history and therefore create tons of profit to the bottom line to a lot of companies, or is it not going to do that? Is it overhyped? And, you know, the one side of it obviously is it's overhyped, and the prices of these stocks have gone up way too much. And, you know, this Goldman thing came out this last week, too much spend, too little benefit, where they're arguing that the amount of money being spent on this is too much relative to what they're going to recover and profits. And listen, I am no AI expert, to say the least. I barely understand what it is. I'm not a computer person. This is not my expertise. But that could make sense. You know, they're spending too much relative to what they're going to get. Therefore, these stocks are very overvalued. We've been hearing about how these stocks are overvalued and overbought and overdone for quite a while here. And people have been trying to short them for quite a while here. And it for the most part, still, it's not working whatsoever. So I went out this last week and I read this book called The Singularity is Near by this guy, Ray Kurzweil. And this guy has a history of being an extremely smart and extremely successful guy. And he's been writing things about AI for, 25 years. And as I went through the book, a lot of the stuff he talked about even 25 years ago, is exactly what these people are investing their money in, Elon Musk and some of these big AI players. And as well, this guy's paid by Google as a top consultant for their AI. So not only does he have his predictions for what AI could become, but in a way, he's also shaping what AI could become, given that he's telling Google, and clearly a lot of other people are listening to him, where this stuff is going. So I think it's a great book to read, no matter what you're doing, because AI, obviously, what it's going to become, which we don't know, is going to be such a big influence on the valuation of assets, if nothing else. And listen, some of this stuff is super scary, right? Putting, electrodes in your brain so that we all become a part of the cloud and all that stuff. It's very hard to picture doing. I don't want people putting electrodes in my brain, right? But there's a lot of things that are hard to picture when they actually happened. Electricity was something when it came out that a lot of people didn't like, because they thought it was going to set their houses on fire, right? They got over it. The airplane, people thought getting into some kind of mechanical contraption and flying through the air was just death waiting to happen. I had a great aunt and uncle who never flew once in their life because they believed that. But you know what? Airplanes are there and people use them a lot. So, and this is an even bigger hump to get over, but a lot of times the bigger humps to get over are the ones obviously that create the biggest changes. And so again, I don't know that that's the case. I don't know if what Ray Kurzweil is predicting is exactly what's going to happen, but it's just good to know the other side in particular. So with the tape continuing to say this, like I say, it's important to maybe look at the other side and see why that may be. Okay. And that's really all I'll say is that, and I'm not taking sides here. I'll trade the tape however it trades. Okay. But as a person who, again, doesn't really know a lot about AI, is scared by the things that people that are bullish on this guy are talking about, is it worth listening to someone who has had a history of being incredibly intelligent, having a lot of knowledge about AI and helping shape where AI is going to go, versus people who are just have missed the AI trade and therefore have remained bearish and keep shorting it and keep losing money doing that and are just trying to be smart about it that way? I mean, big technological changes tend to enrich the few, not the many, because the many doubt them and the few ride them. And that seems to be what's happening now as well. So who do you want to trust? Up to you. I personally trust the tape one way or the other, but I like to have both sides of the story. And that's my main lesson here. Okay. So I hope that helps. Please like the video if you like it. Please join us at crowdedmarketreport.com if you'd like to hear more. We have a free Substack and always happy to hear questions and comments. Okay. Thank you. And I hope everybody has a good week.